Hello, this is Mr. Loy, your friendly D&T teacher. Stemming from your previous lesson, I've shared briefly and show you how you can generate ideas. So it is no different from exploring ideas when you first started off. You can actually have roughly what an idea you already have based on your understanding of the theme promoting. So this example here shows you the random lines method. So basically you just run straight lines and curves. You can generate basically unlimitless ideas, right? So you can see that there are some subtle changes here, but there are also very big changes at different areas. So how do you define this? It will be to darken the outline so you can actually see that it stands out. So you can play around with a few pages, but not too many. And another way is to do shape borrowing, right? So you can pick an animal of your choice and you actually work within the rectangular templates. So you can come up with ideas like this. Okay, you can also come up with very straight edge lines, more functional type. Of course, you can still stick with organic. Of course, if you are a little bit clearer as to what you would like to actually make in the end, you can still explore more 3D forms. Like this case is basically a stand or holder for a waste paper basket. So you need to know what existing item you are going to use. So for example, based on your design specifications, all right, your initial list of design specs, you can actually consider what is the sizing of your basket that you want to pick. So down here, what is linked to promoting would be to encourage people not to anyhow litter waste paper, in the classrooms or their study area or their homes. So basically you try to come up with ideas that can encourage them to use. Okay, so I think a lot of people like to throw and try their luck whether they hit it or get into the bin or not. So this could be something that encourages somebody to throw. Okay, so this one of course is an idea to allow people to maybe there's a little bit of a downlight or night light to show where the waste paper basket is. So this is a minimalist design because it is secured around the waste paper basket rim here. So in class, I actually shared this with you. You can actually come up with something that's 2D shape, right? And you move on to something more of a thickness, right? Add a bit of thickness to see how the base of your product is going to be like. One of the important things you need to bear in mind when you generate ideas is, like I said before, mindful of certain design specification points that you can use. So you normally ask the question, what do I need in this case really? All right, it's not what can it be. What can it be is an earlier stage where you have inspirations for designs, just to doodle around, to have a feel of what things can be like. But now that you understand a particular situation that you have chosen based on your design brief or initial design brief, you actually would need to consider certain critical dimensions. Okay, so in class I showed you that this person could be seated or lying down. How is he going to rest the handphone, all right, using an aid, all right, so that his hands can be free to do something else or not to stress his muscles. So likewise, down here you can see he's lying down. What is the angle that is important, and also how do you secure the moving parts. So these are examples to show you that you can actually sketch and have an idea how your rough form of your idea is going to be like. Now often you will actually ask how do you come up with an idea, right? So just now I've shared with you random lines, random shape borrowing. So you can actually use familiar letters, numbers, things that you can see and you understand. So for example, I have a number 7 here, okay, and then I will have a little digit 2 here, and with this you can actually start to come out from lines to form. So pardon the alarm. And of course you create some form of a thickness, right, by paralleling the line at a certain distance away. Now you realize that I did not have the usual creating box here to help me guide my sketches. It's perfectly alright if you are quite comfortable without it anyway. Okay? So you can see that to me, alright, it looks like a little mouse that is squatting down. Okay, you can actually see here, and this line is a little bit off, so you don't need to erase, you just need to correct the line a little bit. Okay, so let me just get another pencil. So once you have a rough idea of what this is going to be like, you can actually darken the outline. Now at this stage, it is still form exploration. Okay, you are still trying to see how it will look like by adding a bit of thickness backwards or forward. And like I said, don't forget to be mindful of your design specifications. So for example, if I'm going to promote to teach the toddler how to place items back nicely, so this could be returning of maybe small little items, okay, such as a nice little cylindrical rod. So you can actually teach the child how to fit certain shapes into certain parts of the body of this little mouse rack. Okay, we call it mouse rack. So basically it's an organizer that looks like a mouse that is squatting down, which is actually generated from just two numbers, 7 and a 2. Okay, so for your case, what are you promoting? So you need to be mindful of that. Now, another example to show you is when you generate ideas. Alright, it's okay to have light lines and darken certain things. You know, you add a little bit of detail or texturing, but don't spend too much time at this stage coming out with very nicely very nice shapes and stuff like that. Okay, so how do you interpret this page? Alright, I can see that it looks like a snake, right? Cobra, you know, coming out. Okay, but you don't see the snake shape here, but it's just a letter S, and it actually stems from the buckle of a belt. Can you see? Right, so it could have started from here, right? Typical belt that guys normally wear. And how do you marry this part here? Is some sort of a handle, and it became to something like a holder for a speaker, or it could be a upward shining light. Okay, it could be a lamp. And from here you can see this rough lines translated down to this part here. Okay, so it could be a special gadget here, you know, to allow you to put things or switch on certain things. Okay, and of course we hope that if you can use free form. All right, this is a obviously it looks like human, right? So it's like pointing at something. So you're quite well versed with stick figures, so you just add a little bit of idea of the posture of this so-called human figure, and in the end it could be something that you can hook up on a wall, all right, to hang certain items here. Okay, so this person's head may in the end be something more functional, like a little LED lamp or bulb. So you do not forget to ask design thinking questions, DTQ. How does it stand? What do you need to combine with? Okay, when you use certain words such as combine, you are actually considering scampering as well. So don't forget the 7 elements of scamper, right? What does it stand for? And also, as a general reminder, you don't have to use all 7 elements of scamper to generate and develop your idea further. You can pick a random 2 or 3 of them. If you keep picking one same element, do not use more than twice. Okay, so for example, when you next develop this idea and combine with, let's say, a plus sign, and then the next idea that you generate, the variation of the previous stage of the idea, do not use combine more than one more time. Okay, so try maybe rearrange, reverse, and even substitute. Okay, so it will be very artificial if you apply combine for the first stage, combine with something else, and then you combine again, and then you combine again. I don't think that will be the right way. Okay, your idea that you develop after combining 3 or 4 more times will be very out of in English term, right essays out of point. Okay, so it doesn't make sense to combine more than twice in a particular stage of scampering. To end off this short video, I will show you stages of using, you can call this loosely a shape borrowing, because I borrow the shape of the numbers 7 and 2 in this form definition. Okay, so at this stage you just transfer the line backwards, alright, based on this creating, and you follow and parallel the curve and the edge line to define the thickness. So at this stage, how or what can it be, or what will it look like? So it could be a full-size furniture, a simple horizontal flat area for you to place your little cup, all right, your saucer in your cup. So this could be a coffee table, all right. So at this stage, again, promoting, maybe you want to promote reading around a particular area, so this special looking furniture would allow you to place your saucer, your nice cup of tea, while you read. So at this stage, you can see that I've actually added a few more parallel lines, and I've added the so-called vertical lines at this side to show that actually there's emptiness here, so you can actually place, let's say, newspapers, magazines. So it could still be a coffee table and a little rack for you to place some publications here. So at this stage, you realize that what has so-called I've added would be the thickness and this base part, because if without this line, it looks like something's not right at the base here. Of course, you can actually thicken it to make it more stable, but the surface area at the bottom should be quite stable enough. And this is what we call the see-through view. That means imagine you have an X-ray spectacles, you can actually sketch to show what's hidden inside this furniture. So you can see here that it's clearly basically a 3-tiered rack of different heights, maybe for magazines, newspapers, and what have you, alright, the publications. So this see-through view actually gives a clearer understanding of what this idea is about. So at this stage, you could see that I add a little bit of items around already. Of course, I'm going to add the saucer and the cup in a while, but you can see that you have to relate to certain or associate to things that most people in general out there understand. So if I were to write this time for this book item that I place in the front here, people straight away can understand that what this part is for. All right, it's basically the Time magazine, which is quite well known, a publication in all around the world. And you can see that I've added the top edges of 3 books here. One, the magazine, and 2 larger sizes books here. Okay, so I'm going to work on the saucer here. A little holder here. And there you have it. So you can see that you also need to be mindful of the relative size. For example, the Time magazine is this size. When you draw a saucer, it cannot be this big, all right, over the counter there. So it doesn't really fit your overall dimension of the focus of your idea that you're generating. So you need to be mindful of relative size. Okay, so this is a fairly small medium size cup over here. Okay, so this ends the short video.